Hello everyone and welcome to episode 54 of our game dev tutorials. Buckle in guys, this is a bit of a long one. As it says right over here, it's part 2. I wish I could have found a good way to break it up into 3 parts because it's a doozy. But it'll get you guys working keybinds, at least one button keybinds, which will suffice for most games. Before I forget, please make sure you hit that like button if you like my videos. If you don't, you can hit the dislike button, but I'd rather hear a comment of why you don't like it. And if you do like it, tell me why you like these videos. Yeah, I guess, oh, Discord, guys. I'm in Discord all the time. Links below in the description. And also, I've started streaming on Twitch. Mostly right now, it's just video game playing. But eventually it will be for live streaming programming as well. So the link will also be down in the description. Make sure you head over there and hit follow or whatnot if you guys want to see when I go live with that. Past that, guys, I guess it's time to jump into it, and we will get you guys some working keybinds. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is add a keybind menu. Then we're going to do a keybind button. Then we are going to edit the exit menu for the keybind pipeline. Keybind menu pipeline. It kind of like is a tab is the way I'm using it, but it's not actually a tab. So if you wanted to implement a tab system, that might be better. But that would have just increased the amount of time of this video substantially, so I didn't want to go that far into it. Then we'll have some minor edits for ordering that we'll have to do because otherwise we'll have some crashes, and then we'll test it. So that's where we're at with this. So let's hop right in. First things first, find our menus over here. We have our exit menu right here. We're going to be editing that exit menu, so we can create a folder called exit menu, and inside exit menu we are going to just take exit menu for right now. Whoops, come on, copy, paste, rename it to keybind menu, right? Keybind menu, yeah, no S. Okay, open that puppy up. Well, I guess we should rename and copy the name and paste over the top of there. Okay, this is going to account for a lot of the code, so that'll save a little bit of time. We are not going to have only going to have one button. It should be named return, but it's going to function like exit, so we're going to just paste that over there. Delete that one out. It is going to take in a pass object of exit. Our update is different. So we'll leave the active in there. We're going to be adding more in right here. We'll get to that in a second. We do not need the return. And we do not, and then we're going to be adding things in here as well. So, okay, so we're good for this for now. We're going to add a list of the new kind of button in just a second. But inside here, we're going to add a folder, keybind menu. And then in here, we're going to add new item. This is keybind button. So keybind button, add. Keybind button is going to inherit from button 2D as soon as we actually get the includes and stuff set up. Keybind button and public. And then right here we say colon button 2D. So we're going to use pretty much all the functionality from button 2D, but we're going to make a couple edits that make this work. So we are going to go to definition on button 2D, and we are going to grab the constructor so that we have all the variables. Keybind button. There we go. I'm gonna pin that one. Pin that one. Okay. So we have this, and then we need to say public keybind button. And because we're passing it back into button, we need to use all of these variables to pass in. So frames, font, path, button clicked, and info. Okay, so that sets that up. Let's open and close our brackets. Something is not right. Let's see. Can't convert vector2 to string. Argument 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Frames is done twice. That was what the issue is. Done. Okay. So what are we doing with this menu? This menu is going to have a return button or exit button in the bottom center of it, and then we're going to have keybinds along the right side of the menu, and then we're going to have the text kind of next to them. We'll do that in just a sec, but so it's essentially what we're adding is a button. So these buttons themselves, so we talked about the menu, that's a set of these buttons, and these buttons are just a button 2D that when you click on it, it allows you to edit the text of it, and the text of the button 2D will be the new keybind, or what the key of the keybind is. And then we're going to need a name in here, and we're going to need to know what the previous key is so that we can swap them if we put in the same key. So let's say A is already assigned, and we assign it to a second key. Whatever was assigned to the key you assigned A to will now be the duplicates key. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, I'll show you. It's not a big deal, but you don't want to have duplicate keybinds. That's a bad thing. You run into all kinds of issues there. So as we just discussed, we need a string to hold the name of the keybind. We need a I just went through it. We need a string to hold the keybind. We need a string to hold the previous key. So let's get that. So keybind string and previous key. So those we have. We're going to need to know which button we're selected to listen for another key. So we're going to need to say bool or public bool selected. And then we are going to need to say public pass object, because we're going to need a second event. So our first event is when we're clicked. Then we make sure that we're the only one selected. And then the second event is when we find a new key to place in. Then we need to deselect our button and check for duplicates. So that's what we're going to do. So this new event or pass object is called updated. So we actually need to bring in another one. So pass object updated all caps, and then we are also going to need to bring in the keybind string. So string keybind string. Okay, so let's get that all set up. So we just do selected. It starts false by default. FALSE. There we go. Keybind string equals keybind string. We have previous key is blank by default because there is no previous key yet, and updated equals updated. Okay, so that's all the variables we need to make all this work. So we are going to have to edit the update because we need to have it listen for a string when it's selected. We are going to have to edit the, so let's look at button 2, button 2D. I guess we got to go to it again. Go to definition, we'll pin it this time. Okay, so we're going to have to edit the update, but we want all of this functionality to work, so we'll call update.base. we need to edit this, the run button click, because remember we are on update checking if the selecteds are done properly. So it's just, we're gonna have to set update, set selected to true, and then we're gonna have to check all the normal things. And then in here we're gonna have to update this because we have to print the other string for the name of the keybind. Okay? All right. So now that we've talked about it, let's go through and do it. We're going to say public override void update. And that leaves our base update. We need that. But then inside here, we're going to say if selected. We're going to leave that for now. But this is where we're going to put our code for when it's selected. And cool, right? All right, so next we're going to say public override run button click, btn click. Okay, and we are going to do all of the normal things, except for what we're going to do here is say selected equals true. Done. And then we're going to come down here and say public override draw. And we want all of this. The difference is we are going to draw also the text kind of next to it. And we'll get to that in a little bit. So we know we need to add it here and here in order to make all of this work. So when do we want to do anything for selected? Well, we want to do it when there's a key pressed. Well, how do we know when a key is pressed? Well, we're going to have to check the keyboard class for that. So here we have globals.keyboard.pressed keys. This is all the keys that are pressed at the current time. So if that is greater than 0, we have some key pressed, right? That is our queue that I was going to say key, but this uses keys. This is our queue that we need to do something. So when our button is selected and we have buttons pressed in our keyboard. Okay, so that's where we want it. So when that happens, what do we want to do? Well, we want to swap out the text on the button, which is our keybind. Then we need to make sure that we can find that keybind by its name. If we can, then we need to set the key to the text of the button. Then we need to check for duplicates and hit selected to false. That's what we need to do. So it's quite a bit of stuff to do here. So let's get started. So text equals globals dot keyboard text. Yes, the text on the button is globals dot keyboard dot pressed keys 0. Now notice if you have 50 keys pressed, it's going to take the first one. That's just what this one's going to do right now. Oh, and then dot key, right? Because the keybind has key and name. Okay, so we have that. And we have keybind temp keybind equals game globals dot keybinds dot get key by name. Oh, that's not what we want. We need a new one. That's right. We don't want that one. That one just gets us a string. We need something new. So go to definition. Go to definition. We'll keep that. Okay, so what we need is the whole key by key name, not just the string. So what we're going to do is say we want a keybind, and it's get key bind by name, and then instead of this, it's just this, and instead of this, it's just null, right? So we want the whole keybind, not the string at the end, and it's null if we can't find it. So this is in keybind list, guys. We made this last time. We just need this one more function. All right, now we need to go back to button and say get keybind by name, and the name is going to be keybind string, right? That's this right up here. That's why we passed it in, is so that we have that to do this. and so that we can write the name for it. And then so if that's not equal to null, and it should never be, but we're just gonna test for it. You can even put like an else in here to send you a message saying something went wrong or whatever. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to set previous key before we lose it equals temp keybind dot key, and then we are going to temp keybind dot key equals text. So that's setting it to the text of the button. That's our new keybind. And then if, and this should never happen either, but we're going to test for it, updated dated not equal null, then we're going to say updated this, so passing the whole thing back, and we'll get to that in a bit, and then selected equals false. Updated, that's a little bit confusing, but it's alright. Alright, so that takes care of our update, provided I didn't make any mistakes, but you know me, I make mistakes, so we might be back to this to fix it. But that is our update. We dealt with our run. We will do the drawing of the string at the end. So we'll deal with that in a little while. Okie day. So we're back to our menu. And we are going to add a list of these buttons. So public list keybind button, and then keybind buttons equals new list keybind buttons. Okay, where do these come from? Well, these come from all possible keybinds. A list of all possible keybinds. Well, what's our list of all possible keybinds? Well, first we have to for. Int I equals 0, I less than the thing that we're going to deal with, I plus plus. Okay, so the list of all possible keybinds is in globals. We did this last time. Oops. Game globals. Dot keybinds dot keybinds dot count. That's a little bit confusing, but that's what it is. I probably should have named this different than this, but it should probably have been keybind list or something. Minor deal, no big deal. It's gonna work. It's just slightly confusing. All right, so we got to create a keybind button for every keybind in the keybind list. That's what we're doing here. So let's do that. We're going to say keybind buttons dot add new keybind button, and in here we're going to have a path. That path is going to be the same button as this, so let's just steal it. The position is new vector 2 0 0. The dimensions new vector 2, I don't know, 30 30. Smaller. I mean that's what we're going for, smaller. Frames is new vector 2 1 1. Font path, well that's this again. We have the text, which is going to be this i.key. We're going to have button clicked. Our button clicked is going to be something down here, something like check selected. That's what we'll call it. So public virtual void check selected. Object info. We are actually going to use that object info for once in a while. And then so we have the second one. We might as well create it too. We're going to call check duplicates. Public virtual void check duplicates object info. Okay, so in these, what we need to do is loop through all of our keybind buttons and then do something, right? In check duplicates, we're gonna look for something that is a duplicate and then swap them. And in check selected, we're literally setting selected to false for everything except for the current one we're working on. So let's take a stab. We'll take a stab at those in just a second. Actually, let's finish this up. Sorry. Otherwise, we won't be able to get errors properly. Check selected. And here we have info. For right now, this is null because we actually need to pass itself to it to use the functionality from button 2D, which is odd, but it's the way it's going to need to work. And you can't do that until it's created. So we're going to deal with that. Keybind string. So this is this here. Name. And then here we have check duplicates. Okay. So now that we have our errors fixed and we can get our errors properly, let's come down here. We'll say, first we need to get ourselves the instance out of info. Well, to do that, we're going to say keybind button, temp button equals keybind button info. Okay, so there, now we have this cast to the keybind button like it's supposed to be. Now we're going to loop. We're going to loop here and say, sorry, that was my Discord going off. Int I equals 0, I less than keybind buttons dot count I plus plus. And then inside here, we want to make sure that it is not, so it is not our temp button, keybind buttons, I not equal temp button, and keybind, well, you know, we don't even need to do an and. This is just a bool, so we can say selected equals false. Super simple. I mean, you could test for that too, but a second test actually doesn't do much. Setting the bool is so small, it's simpler this way. So we're just copy paste this because we want almost the exact same code here. What we want to change is this, and we need to add something here. So what is the something here? Well, this is going to say that the text is the same as the text. So we want this dot text not equal, or equal, I'm sorry, equal this dot text. So this is a duplicate of the text. This means we have two keybinds set to the same letter or keystroke or whatever. So we need to not have that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say the duplicate, which is this, needs to change temp button dot previous key. Oh, I just realized that's a bug. So this will visually change it. That doesn't actually, and it'll save it. No, it won't even save it. That's a problem. Okay, well, I'm on the fly here. I didn't see this button, so just bear with me. I didn't see this issue. So we need to do essentially this. Now this. Hold on. We need to create a function. So we're going to say public virtual void set new. I don't know. We're just going to call it that. And then we're going to take in a string of the text, and we are going to text. So we need the keybind. Yes. We need to do all of this. Yes. So we needed, yeah, all right. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do new text. Right or no? No, we need to do this, 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 that should be the exact same pipeline now, except for we can now reuse this over here. So let's fix this bug as I saw it right away, which was kind of cool. Usually I make mistakes and forget these kinds of things. Where does it go? It goes in the Keybind menu, and it's actually set. Oh, oops. Dot set new, and then that. So this is actually going to recall all of this. I think that'll work still. And so now if something else is a duplicate of what its previous was, it'll call it all the way down the chain, I think. Unless there's some kind of bug there. Okay. So that's great. Fixed that. Those get called through here. We need to do our updates next. So we're gonna have essentially the same loop as this, and we are going to use it with Keybind button or buttons. Okay, so we want these on kind of the right hand side of the screen is the way I envision it. So to do that, we take the dems and then we subtract the button dems. So keybind button I'm sorry, I had a little brain fart there. Dot dems dot x times like 1.25 f, something to that accord. And then we know our button is 30 tall, so let's only do like 38 space. That'll give us an 8 pixel space between our buttons. That'll keep the button list shorter. And since we haven't done scrolling, we want it to be short as possible. You could even do like 2 or 3 pixels in here if you wanted to. Now this button is using that same code. We don't actually want that. We want it in the middle. That's fine. That means in the middle. But what we want here is the total height of the thing. Dems dot y is the total height, and we're going to subtract. Same idea right here. Except for it's going to be y on the dems. So that'll center it on the bottom, essentially. And so this is on the right, but in a little bit, and then we'll get the string in there too. So let's grab here. We need to copy over this because we changed it, and then we need to change the updates to draw. Okay. Cool. The buttons, we're gonna have to draw the string that we'll get that it's inside the button. I guess we can do that now. I forgot to do this on my prompt, so this is going to be another bit of a ad lib. So this may not end up perfect, but at least we'll get it on there. To do this, we need to how do we want to do this? I guess we don't know the width of our thing, we could pass that in, but we're not going to right now. We could pass in the width of our menu, and then we could draw it on the left side. That's what the best would be. I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm going to say that we just need to draw it. So one place that we draw a string is in here, in button 2D. So this draws, oh, hold on. Yeah, this draws a string for us. So we are going to take that in. Oh, I might as well make an edit here. Find all references. This is one of the bugs that we need to solve. So I'm going to do that right now because we're already here. We need a 1 set. So this is a 1 set. I don't know where I'm grabbing this from. I'm grabbing it from UI. I just searched for all references and then found one that worked. This is a bug, and we're solving it by doing that. So this is just a 1 set, and then it'll draw the strings always correctly. Sometimes our strings could have an error. It was rare, but it's going to occur if I let it occur right now. So we actually need all of this, and then we need to go to Keybind button. There we go. And we need to draw a string. The string is going to be it's not text, it's this other string right here. So we want to put that in. The position is, yes, the position of the button, blah, blah, blah. All that's correct, except for we are going to string dims. So we are not going to subtract half of it. We're going to subtract the entire width of the string times, plus 30. That'll give us, so that should move us, let's do 40. That should move us to the left of the button, plus the entire width of the string plus 40. It's going to make an uneven line on the left, but it's not the end of the world. This should be fine. This should work. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll edit it as is. Okay, so our button should be working. Our menu should be almost working. Exit, click. Yeah, we need exit info. We need to save. On the exit of this menu, we need to save our keybinds. So we need to make that happen. So let's start with creating an X document. X document key binds doc equals new X document, and in here we're just going to create root and leave it blank because we actually do all of the work in our keybind list. So keybind doc dot element root dot add, and in here we're going to say game globals dot keybinds dot return XML. Okay, so that fills our XML. We already did that work last time. And then here we're going to say globals dot save dot handle save formats, which is the way that we save things. And then we are going to say keybind doc, because that's the doc we're going to use. And the string is the same string as we used for keybinds in main. Let me make sure that string is the same. So we used that. Well, I guess it's this. And we go. That goes. My brain is tired. Okay, there we go. So that goes there. That should save over the old file and have your keybinds ready to use every time you load. Cool. Next, we need to go to our exit menu. We've got to edit that guy. We had him right up here, right? Exit menu. Okay, this guy here, we no longer need that one. Probably don't need message or disable message on there, huh? Okay. This guy here is going to kind of be a controller class now. And I'm not going to take the time to make the other tab-like features, and that's what I was talking about before. But what we are going to do is create a state, so public int state. It needs to be an int because you can have more than one state. And then we are going to create our menu. So public keybind menu equals we'll get to keybind menu. Okay, we'll do the equals down here. So the reason we need to do this is because we're going to let our exit menu control this. So it needs to be declared in here. So our state is going to default to 0, and our we'll do it at the bottom. Our keybind menu lowercase version equals new keybind menu, and then that has a return function similar to this one. So we're going to have return from keybinds. Binds. And then we'll put that in real fast, and then we'll come down and discuss this. So what happens when it turns from keybinds? Well, the normal state is 0, so we're going to put it back to that. State equals 0. And then we are going to make sure that keybind menu.active equals false. Okay, that's really all that needs to happen. This we can set false in the keybind menu too, but this is just to make sure. And then what we're going to need is a button to get there. So let's create a button. And this wonderful button just says keybinds. And we need something, we need its return click, right? So, no, we don't need the return click. That confused me there. We need the activation of our keybind list. So this is keybind click. So here we are. We have keybind click. There we go. And so we'll put that in. This list already spaces itself out, so we're all done with that. That's wonderful. That's why we set it up the way we did. And here what we need to do is say state equal 1, and we need to say keybind menu dot active equals true. Now we have to do some stuff up here. So this is our normal state of happening, right? So we say if, wrap it because I don't want to forget braces, state equals 0, else if state equal 1, we do keybind menu dot update, and then we can take this here, come down to the draw, same thing, if state equals 0, whoops, 0, and then down here just paste the rest of the else because we did all that, and then we say draw. So that state switches between what we're seeing, and exiting this keybind menu will put you in active there, and yeah, let me see, go to definition. Actually, I'm thinking, oops, not peak definition, I hate that. Go to definition. We do have a close button. Do we have a way to turn our close button off? We don't. Okay. Well, there's another bug. So let's say bool has close button. Sure, that works. So has close button. It's going to default to true, and then we'll put it around this close button. That's a little X in the top right. We don't want the menu, our keybind menu, to have this. So we need to turn it off, and the best way to do that is this way. So I did not get this part either, but I thought about it now, so that's good. Our keybind menu needs to say now has close button equals false, so that it will no longer show draw or update it, so it basically doesn't exist. We're hiding it this way. Okay, we now have what I think is a working setup. The one other bug we need to fix is that is going to try to make this here. No, we just need these. We need these above this stuff because it's going to try to make this class here, and it can't do it without our keybinds. So we're just going to move those up above. Now, hopefully this will work for us. Let's see. Okay, we've got our menu. We hit play. If this works first try, I'm going to be amazed. We hit escape. There's our keybind list. Click it. Well, that's not quite what we wanted. Let's move this over. and go into our button, our Keybind button. This is where we're drawing it, so let's hit a little breakpoint. And our string dims is our text. That's what our problem is. And it's Keybind string is not set properly. Okay, well, let's make sure that worked real fast. So we're going to undo that. We're going to hit F5. And these did move over. There's two texts on top of each other. We are getting something wrong here. It's getting the font string on our button. So our button, this is getting the font string. So let's check our Keybind menu and see what we did there. Oops, let's close that out. Keybind's key. Keybind string name. That all looks correct. Let's check it when we have it come up. A, move left. So that's correct. So Y, our key button, are we getting that? Let's see what we're getting here. Yeah. Escape, well, that works, so that's good. Move left, so that's correct. And then when let's go here and check what we're getting here. Text equals font Arial. How's the font text getting in there? What am I missing? What am I missing? Font path text. Font path. Minor mistake, boys. Minor mistake. Not just boys, but minor mistake, everybody. Font path and then text string. Okay, we got to restart it to make it work. Error list. Like I said, if I got it right the first time, I'd have been amazed. All right, play. Here, hit our escape button, keybinds. Okay, that is not yet correct. The button is drawing properly, ADWS, that's what we should have. What is not working yet is this text here, so we'll do this. Keybinding string move left, keybinding string move left, string dimensions X, that should be position of the button minus string dims is 0. Our font is exists. That's very strange. Alright, because I don't want to spend a million years on this, I'm just going to say minus 100. And that'll give you a 10. Oh, not even. We need more than 100. Cool. No problem. Minus 150. Not 250. 150. Okay, and let's see how that goes. Good enough. Okay, so now let's test that this works. So we have our A. We are going to switch it to E. Oh, didn't work. I know what we did wrong. I told you we needed to do this, and then I didn't come back and do it. So here, keybind buttons, keybind buttons.count -1. Remember, that's the most recent one added. Dot info equals itself. We forgot to set itself to pass for this basic function. All right, run it again. Play. There we go. We have to escape, keybind, we click it and push E, and now it's E. So now I'm going to return, and we broke the game. Cool. It's fine. That's part of what we have to do. Let's see. Huh. Non-white space cannot be added to content. Well, let's check my prompt. Did I mistype something somewhere? Yeah, we totally did. Okay, we forgot to say new element. New X element, and then wrap that around here. All right. Well, that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to solve. There we go. Play. Here. And we have escape, keybinds, A to E, return. That worked. Return. We're back to playing. Good. Now we're going to push E, and it worked. I mean, that's really weird to try to play that way, but E instead of A. And that is the direction A should go. Okay, keybinds. Now we want to set that back to A. Actually, we're going to set it to Q. We'll set that right to Q for a second, and then we'll set left to E, and then we're going to set right to E. So now left should be Q and right should be E. So we just screwed around with it a bunch. Return. Return. They are correct. So all of that craziness, and we got the right answer. Now, more importantly, we need to go in and look at our XML, our key bindings. Notice it is saved. You can see when I'm doing this. And we have Q for move left and E for right button. So we now have a working keybind system. Guys, I hope you liked this tutorial. I know it was long. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to split this up. I thought about, okay, we'll just do the menu, but that doesn't make much sense. Okay, we'll just do the button. That doesn't give us anything to test. So on and so forth. So I decided to go this route and do it all in one big episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, hit that like button. If you can and you have a few seconds, please type a comment. Let me know if you like things or if you don't like things. Let me know if you guys are interested in watching my streaming on Twitch. The link is down below, and you know, check me out on Discord. Also, link below. If this is helping you in a professional manner, do consider Patreon. Again, link below. But if not, that's cool. We'll just keep working anyway. 54 episodes, guys. We're really getting quite a lot for you all. I hope you guys all get a lot out of this. I will see you guys next time. Talk to you later. Bye.